Okay, so first of all I'm going to create a new document. I'm just going to call this poster. I'm just going to make sure it's A3 and just click on OK. First I'm just going to get my first image. I'm just going to get this image of this planet and click and open. Just going to click and drag and place it on top of my page. I'm going to hit Control T, which is a shortcut for free transform. I'm just going to scale this image up. Next thing, I'm going to go to my layer, right click, and just going to duplicate this layer. Click on OK. I'm just going to get my cursor and just place it on top of my first image. Just going to hit Control T again. I'm just going to rotate this image until you get something that looks like this. Just get your cursor and place it on top of the first image. Next I'm going to select my two images by hitting Shift, and I'm just going to merge them together. So next I'm going to get my clone stamp tool. I'm just going to erase any part of the image which I don't want. You can see all I'm doing is clicking on any part of the image I want and just hit Alt. It just copies your selection. Just begin to paint over the image. Next I'm just going to crop my first image to get something that looks like this. Just going to get my cursor and place it on top of my image on the poster, and I'm just going to scale this image up to get something that looks like this. Then hit return. Next I'm going to get my eraser tool and I'm just going to blend these two images together. Just going to turn the opacity down so I can blend these two images. And just gradually blend the two images together until you get something that looks like this. Okay, so that's my background created. Next I'm just going to go to File and Open. Just going to get this image of this man, click and open. Just going to unlock the layer. Just going to get my quick selection tool, and I'm just going to select any part of the image which I don't want and hit delete. Deselect, and I'm just going to get my eraser tool. I'm just going to edit this image. Just going to erase any part of which I don't want. Just going to turn the opacity up, the hardness up, just so I can quickly erase any part of this image I don't want. So next I'm just going to go up to Filter and Liquify. Just going to increase the size of the brush. I'm just going to click and drag, and you can see all I'm doing is just manipulating the shape of the face. Just by clicking and dragging you can create any shape you want. I'm just going to just keep clicking and dragging. You can see you can make any shape you want. I'm just going to increase the size of his eye. You can create any shape you want. I'm just going for this kind of look. Your classic alien look. Just going to bring his eyebrows down so it looks like he's frowning. And I'm just going to edit the size of his nose. You can see I'm just gradually just pulling parts of the face. And just keep playing about with the image till you get something that looks like this. Click on OK. So next I'm just going to get my zoom tool and zoom in, and I'm just going to edit his eye. I'm just going to get my brush tool and I'm just going to paint over the eye. I've just turned the opacity down so I can just easily just Just keep painting over the eye. Just going to turn the hardness up so I can quickly just paint over the centre of the eye. Just going to turn the opacity down just so I can blend the corners into the image. The edge of the eye. You can see I'm just gradually just painting over the eye. Next I'm just going to zoom into my image and I'm just going to get my eyedropper tool. I'm just going to select some colours of the face. I'm just going to get the paintbrush tool and I'm just going to, what I'm doing here is I'm just trying to make the eyebrow more defined on the face. And I'm just using my brush tool and eyedropper tool just to select colours and just to paint over the image. Just until you get something that looks like this. Next I'm going to get my zoom tool and I'm just going to hold that and I'm just going to zoom out. I'm just going to go to filter and liquify again. Just going to edit some parts of the face. Just going to widen just the side of his face, just a little. You can create any shape you want. So next I'm just going to get this image of this cat's eye and I'm just going to crop it and hit return. Just going to get my eraser tool now. Just going to unlock the layer and I'm just going to erase just the outside of the eye, just any parts which you don't need. And I've just turned the hardness up just so I can quickly erase any part of the image which I don't want. Next I'm just going to get my cursor tool and I'm just going to click and drag and I'm just going to place this on top of the face. I'm just going to hit Control T and I'm just going to scale this image down. Just going to get my cursor tool and I'm just going to flip it horizontal so it looks it's in the right way. And all I'm using here is just a combination of the transform tools just to edit the eye. Just going to get my zoom tool and zoom in. I'm just going to turn the opacity down on the eye image. And I'm just going to erase any part of the eye which I don't want, which is overlapping the face. You can see I'm just using my eraser tool just to erase any part of the eye I don't want. And I'm just using my eraser tool just to blend the two images together. so it looks more realistic. To get something that looks like this. So next I'm going to get my two layers and I'm just going to click and drag. And I'm going to place them on my poster. And I've just merged the eye and the face together, and I've just duplicated the face, and I've just placed the two of them beside each other, and I've just merged the layers together, so I'll create this kind of image here. I'm just going to scale it up. Just going to make sure your layers are in the correct position. Just place the face behind the planet layer. Now I'm just going to get my erase tool. I'm just going to erase any part of the image which is overlapping my face so I can see it. Okay, so next I'm just going to place this texture on top of my face, the face image. I'm just going to scale it up so it covers the face completely. Next I'm just going to go up to layer and layer style, and I'm just going to click on blend, and I'm going to change the blend mode to multiply, and I'm just going to reduce the opacity to 80%. So you get something that looks like this. Next I'm going to go to edit, transform, and skew, and just going to edit this so I get something that looks like this. Then at return, just going to get my eraser tool, just going to turn the opacity up, and I'm just going to quickly just erase just any part that's covering the eye. Or any part of the texture which you don't want. So next I'm going to go into my texture again. This time I'm going to click and drag and place it on top of the face again. Just going to get my zoom tool and zoom out. This time I'm going to place it to the side. I'm going to duplicate the layer. I'm going to place my two images beside each other, and I'm just going to merge these two together. Right clicking and merge. Next I'm just going to duplicate my new image and just place this below my first image. You get something that looks like this. And next I'm just going to merge these two images together. And now my new image created, I'm just going to go to layer and style. Just going to go to blending. I'm just going to change the blend mode to color burn. I'm just going to reduce the opacity to 60%. Click on OK. You can see my image now is starting to take shape. Just going to get my erase tool again, and I'm just going to erase any part of the texture which I don't want. Just any part that's covering the eyes. And just erase any part of the texture which is covering the planet, or any part of the texture which you don't need. You can just take your time with this. You can see what I'm doing is just gradually erasing any parts which you don't want. Just so my image looks more realistic. Next I'm just going to file and open. I'm just going to open this image here of these wee silhouettes of these soldiers. Just going to get my magic wand tool and select the soldiers, and I'm just going to get my paint bucket tool. I'm just going to paint over the images, and I'm just going to click and drag and just place these my silhouettes of soldiers on top of my planet. Next I'm just going to go to layer and layer styles. I'm just going to add an outer glow to these. I'm just going to change the color of the edit logo so it blends in with my design. Click on OK and just increase the size and the spread, and then click on OK. Just to have the figures stand out in the page. So next I'm just going to select the face, and I'm just going to scale, just increase the size of it. And I'm just erasing any parts of the image which I don't want. I'm just using my eraser tool just to shape the face, just so I get something that looks more interesting. Just going to select all my layers again of the face image, and I'm just going to place it in the center. Just going to get my zoom tool. Now I've just selected my paintbrush, and I'm just going to paint over some of my image. All I've done here is selected black, and I've turned the opacity down on the brush so I can just gradually just paint over the eyes, just so they look more defined on the page. All I'm doing is just gradually painting over the eyes so you get something that looks more interesting. You get something that looks like this. You can see all I'm doing is just erasing any parts which any parts of the image which I don't think, I just don't need. Just turn the opacity and the hardness down in your eraser tool, just so you can gradually just edit the image. You can see my image now is starting to take shape. So next I'm just going to get my eraser tool again, and I'm just going to blend the face image into the background. Just by turning the opacity down on the brush, you can see that I'm just gradually just darkening the edges of the face, just so it blends better with the background image. Just take your time with this. The reason I'm just blending the edges of the face, just so the image looks more realistic on the page. You can see my image now is starting to take shape. So next I'm just selected the planet, and I'm just going to add a lens flare to the image, just by going up to filter, render and lens flare. So next I'm just going to add some text to my page. I'm just going to add a title to the poster. You can call yours whatever you want. I'm just going to call mine Infinite Conquest. Just going to change the color to white, just so it stands out on the page. And again, you can choose any font you want. Just make sure you choose an appropriate font. Because this is a sci-fi poster, I've picked a font which I think fits the style of the page. Next, all I'm doing is I've just gone to my layer style, and I've just added a bevel and emboss to the text, and you can just play about with the options here. Next I'm just going to add an outer glow to the text. I'm just adding an outer glow to the text so it just helps the title stand out in the page. Next I'm just going to add some credits to the page. I just find this image here. Just going to use my magic wand tool. I'm just going to unlock the layer, and I've selected the black, and I'll just hit delete and deselect. Now I'm just going to click and drag. I'm just going to drag my text onto the page. You can see I just get this effect here. Again, I'm just going to hit Control T, which is a shortcut for free transform. I'm just going to scale this image, the text down. Next I'm just going to add a tagline to my page. Just going to reduce the size of the text. I've just used the same font as the title. I'm just going to go to the layer and layer style. I'm just going to add another bevel and emboss to this, to my tagline. You can just play about with the options and click OK. Next I'm just going to zoom into my face, and I'm just going to use my paintbrush. Just going to select black. I'm going to turn the opacity down, and I'm just going to add some shadows to my image. I've just turned the opacity down so I can just gradually add just some shadows to the image. I'm just using my paintbrush and just following the cracks on the face just to help some of the cracks stand out. Again, all I'm using here is my paintbrush tool. Just going to increase the size of the brush. I'm just going to try to define the eyebrows. All I'm doing is just adding some shadows to the face just to make it look more realistic. Just going to get my zoom tool and hold Alt. I'm just going to zoom out. So next I'm just going to go up to Filter Render, and I'm going to click on Lighting Effects, and I'm just going to add some effects to this page. I'm just going to add some shadows to the bottom of the page just so it helps the text at the bottom of the page just stand out a bit more, so it's more legible on the page. Just going to get my Lighting Effects tool. I'm just going to decrease the size. Just going to place in the center just until you get something that looks like this, and then hit return. You can see I've just added some lighting effects to the page. Just going to get my eraser tool now, and I'm just going to edit just going to edit some of the glow. Just so it blends a bit better on the page. That there is basically my poster finished. Please make sure to check out more videos on the Online Design Teacher YouTube channel.